right, good morning, SARE. Today we have Anna Tan from the SuiteLife Multifamily. She is one half of the SuiteLife Multifamily. Her husband is Peter Tan. In multifamily alone, the Tans have invested in over 800 doors. They acquire, own, and manage these properties across 2 cities. The Tans have developed a disciplined approach to investing, which focuses on capital preservation and strong returns. Anna, who's the star of the show today, is an engineer for a major Fortune 500 company with diverse roles in engineering, business strategy, and development. So, welcome, Anna. This is a ladies' podcast, so she's the superstar of the couple. Welcome. How are you, Anna?
Thank you. I'm doing great. You guys are fabulous, and I am so excited to continue our conversation today.
So, you're based out of Austin, Texas, right? Explain to us, where in Texas are you and what markets do you operate in?
Yeah, so I'm actually Midland, Texas, so that's west of Austin. So if you kind of look on the map of Texas, it's between El Paso and Austin. But the markets that we're currently in is Midland, Texas, so where we currently live, in Houston. So we're grew up in Houston on the single family side. In our commercial real estate properties, so we're in the multifamily space. Our current properties that we've invested in include Houston and Alabama.
So this is a husband-wife operation, right? So how did you guys meet? And tell us your guys' backstory of how you guys decided to embark on this together.
Yeah, so we are actually high school sweethearts. We've been together for since 2000. What is it? It's 2022. Since 2003. So if you kind of back calculate that for me. So that's how long we've been together. We've been married for 11 years. And one of the things, so we've been, we've known each other for so long, but how we got into real estate was really my dad. I feel like all Asians, or a lot of Asians, they're kind of really into real estate, and what they know about is, buy more land or buy houses. And as a kid, I'm just like, I have no idea what this means, but like, hey, sure. But so when we got married, one of the gifts that our parents gave us was actually a house, a rental house. And so at the time, my husband and I, we actually lived with my mom. So we didn't have our own house. Instead, they gifted us this house. We had the choice to either rent it or live there, and we decided to rent it out. And that's how we started how we fumbled into real estate, and we've been doing it for over 10 years now and haven't looked back.
That's amazing. So you guys hold a full-time job and your dowry was basically a house. That's such a cool. I feel like that should be required, like gifting from parents.
Yeah, like like that, like back in the old days, you give cows or horses, but here's
I'll take the house.
Yeah, I'll take the house. Y'all can keep the gold jewelry and the bangles. Everybody chip in and give me a house.
Yeah, I can keep the cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and can you tell us about like how you have built your business with your husband and what's at now?
Yeah, so we had this goal. We wanted to, quote unquote, retire early. But that I feel like at the end of the day, you don't really retire. You want to do something that you actually enjoy, and so that it doesn't feel like work. I think that's kind of the end goal. I think we've both realized that we're kind of workaholics. So we always we can't just sit and chill at the beach and do nothing. We're always going to want to do something. And real estate is kind of a means for that. So we came up with a plan, and we said we needed, X amount of passive income, quote unquote passive income, in order to achieve a certain lifestyle. And so we came up with a number, and we said that, by X amount of years, we needed, 3 single family homes. We need to do it, whatever rate. Well, by the time, like 2 kids later, we said, okay, we're not anywhere close to our goal. We need to scale up quicker. And so that's when we started looking to commercial real estate and multifamily. And that's when we started to scale up. So our first deal that we closed in December of 2021, it was a 262 unit multifamily apartment in North Houston, actually where my husband and I grew up in. So it's almost like full circle, which is so awesome. And one of the great things about that is you can, or let me backtrack. So one of the things that we always talked about is, how do we bring our friends in and be able to capitalize on our knowledge. And, we're building our wealth, but we didn't know how to do that in the single family home space. But you can do that with commercial real estate, because you can bring in passive investors and say, hey, there's this great opportunity. You come in, put in some equity, and when we succeed, you guys can too. And so that's the fun part about commercial real estate. So now we're expanding our knowledge, because we're going to do real estate no matter what. Like, either come on board or stay on the sidelines. But if you do, hopefully you'll be able to reap the benefits like we are. So we jumped on that deal. We're currently on our second one, and it's just meeting partners and meeting brokers. It's just been such a wild ride. But let me talk about how we got into commercial real estate specifically, and it has everything to do with my second daughter. So, we currently both have W-2 jobs, and I was on maternity leave. And at that point, I had this mom life crisis. There's the midlife crisis. I was having a mom life crisis. I was just like, I needed something that was mine. Granted, the kids are mine, but I needed like something that was mine. And so I went out searching, and I came across, commercial real estate, multifamily. And I told my husband, I was like, I think this is it. Like, there was a calling, when you kind of have this pull. And the reason why I say that was because my daughter, if everyone has kids, she was on bottle strike for 5 months. So she was like, we were very close for 5 months. Yeah. And that was very exhausting. But at that point, when I was ready to look for something, that's when she started taking the bottle. And that was like a sign. And so I went to a conference, apartment investing conference, and that's what kind of changed our trajectory. So I pretty much spent the next 3 months and built our commercial real estate business, website, learning the mechanics, getting to our first deal, meeting partners and brokers, and traveling, visiting different apartments and doing due diligence. So it was just such a crazy ride. And I feel like because I was able to step away from corporate, and granted it was because of my daughter being on leave, I was able to kind of reevaluate what I really wanted, and then take action and jumped into commercial real estate.
That's awesome.
I love that. I definitely love like when you just say it's like a sign, because it just would flow so naturally, and I resonate with that too. Like real estate is always a part of like same with mine. My parents were always like, you have to have real estate. This is what you save your money for. This is the end goal, and you need to just get more houses. More houses is better. And they always were like, no matter what you do, whatever dream you have, like real estate can always be just like a background for it. And I just love that about just how wise Asian elders are in that sense too. Which kind of leads me to sort of my next one. Actually, let's talk about sort of the challenges and mistakes you faced early on, and what did you learn from it, and we'll talk a bit about how your Asian identity played into that.
Yeah, so one of the things, kind of in the Asian culture, I feel like you DIY everything. And so when we got our first house, we DIY'd everything. Even though we had the internet, we only looked on YouTube to figure out how to fix something. We never looked on YouTube or research kind of the best way to do something, or we never sought a mentor that could really accelerate our learnings. And I think that was something that I wouldn't say it's a regret, but definitely a learning. So which is why we were able to accelerate so quickly in commercial real estate, because we were like, okay, this is the path we want to take. We need to find a mentor. We need to figure out, we need to find partners that know a little bit more than us, that's kind of willing to mentor us. And that way that's why we're able to accelerate so quickly. So really, when you leverage other people's time or knowledge or money, experience, resumes, you're able to move so much faster. So one of the mistakes, I'll kind of share a story. So in that first house that we had, we didn't have a way to screen out tenants. And because that's the way that my mom did, right? Like we just said, oh, if you have the deposit, 2 months deposit, great, you're kind of in. And so the one of the tenants we had, they were later described as gypsies. And so they were, they had kind of the initial family that came in. They were great. They were paying on time. Then over time, they were, they weren't paying. And then we said, oh, it's fine. You're a couple of days late. And then eventually that kind of extended longer. They would bring in other family members. They were also hoarders. And they were such terrible neighbors. The neighbor actually mentioned to us that while he was taking a break from mowing the lawn, my tenants were trying to steal his lawnmower while he went to take a quick break.
Oh my God. What?
Oh my God.
Yeah, like it's just crazy. And the worst part of it all is when we were finally able to evict them. So we kind of understand the eviction process too, which is, I guess, a great learning moment if you consider that, if you want to get there, which you don't, is that they actually brought a German roach infestation to the house. And that they like put out a smell, kind of like skunks when they're attacked or terrified or whatever. And if you've seen Men in Black, kind of like the roaches and stuff that come out. So when my husband was fixing up the house with his dad, because we're DIYers at that point, he had like a burger. He put it down, like kind of like on the countertop, on the paper. You just saw like the swarm.
Oh no! Oh my
like
God.
it was just gross. And so had we, had a screening process, had we, kind of had a mentor that told us, there were so many red flags along the way, which it wouldn't have cost us, or it wouldn't have cost us so much money. We wouldn't have spent so much time and lost some money. So definitely seeking mentorship at the beginning of whatever journey you're interested in, and leverage that person's knowledge instead of trying to sink in yourself, unless you really, really want to go through, infestations.
You are so much braver. I would have just straight up burned down the house after I saw the roaches on the burger. I just like, don't eat this anymore. Bye.
My God, that's horrifying.
Oh my God. Well, yeah, I can imagine that it's a lot of learning and a lot of journey, and even all your failures like turn into great learnings for your next investment, right? Yeah, and I want to talk about circling back about your Asian identity, and what about that and the habits that it was instilled in you make you feel like it was kind of going up against or supporting your real estate success?
Yeah, so one of the things was, and I feel like maybe a lot of people can relate. So I'm second generation, my parents came over as refugees. And one, we were kind of DIYers. But the main mantra was you work hard and you save everything. And you paid everything in cash. And that was it. Like if you can't afford it, you don't buy it. And I thought that was the best way to live in a capitalist society, which, it kind of made sense. But as you kind of grow older, you realize that that's not, I kind of mentioned about leveraging. That's probably, if you're okay with a certain lifestyle, maybe status quo, then yeah, that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But once you kind of realize that, hey, you do kind of like enjoying maybe, going on trips or experiences, or having a little bit extra income paths, you need to do a little bit more. So one thing is my, wow, I kind of forgot where I was going with that. So yeah, so one thing is, you're working hard, but you got to work smart as well, and then leverage other people's time. And that's something that, whenever my parents bought a house, they paid everything in cash. So if you only have X amount of dollars in the bank and you put it in just one rental house, where now, say that rent house is $200,000, now you have to kind of wait, maybe a couple years before you build that wealth again and be able to put a full cash offer on another house. I mean, that's going to take you forever to reach the financial freedom or financial goal that you're trying to achieve. So in commercial real estate, what we're able to do is we're going to say, hey, Anita, Tiffany, we have this great property, put in X amount of dollars, which could be the same amount as a down payment on a house. And you'll be able to get passive income, whether through quarterly or monthly distributions. You also get proceeds from the sale once we do sell it. So you're actually investing in an established business, which is different from, the single family home space. And there, which is great, because now you can say that when you sell the property, it's based on the net operating income. So basically all the work that you put in, versus a single family home, it's all based on the appreciation of the neighborhood. So you're kind of banking on the neighborhood, time, and obviously both are, you're going to kind of hold it for maybe a couple of years. So that's kind of the difference between the two, and just leveraging other resources is key, I think, in a big differentiating in Asian society.
Would you say like the first group of friends that you approached with the syndication, what was their mix like, and what did your, like, I guess, pitch to your friends seem like, and how was it received? So I'm going off script a little bit, but you said something really interesting to me there, and it goes back to like Asian support networks, right? Like how was that set up for you?
Yeah, so I would say it was pretty good response, and obviously everyone is very interested, but also reserved, and ask a lot of questions. And I think about, like, for us, we believe in honesty and transparency. Like, we're going to say, all investments, end of the day, have risk. Like, end of the day, you can lose your money. And if anyone tells you otherwise, they're full of shit. But we also take calculated risk, which is why we are able to do the things that we have. But because we've been super, super conservative in the past, we've missed some opportunities as well. So there's been some where just like, had we just, jumped in, or, there's like naysayers, just kind of avoid them and say, you have the calculated risk, you just got to go in. This is what we've considered, kind of worst case scenario. This is how we're trying to mitigate them. And end of the day, I think our friends know that we're hard workers. We've been successful in, I don't want to say all of our endeavors, but I would say most of our endeavors. And we just don't know how to fail. Like, we will work to the bone, work to the teeth to get it sorted out. So I think with that, kind of laying out the truth, laying out what our opinion is, and we believe in what we do. Just kind of growing up, we didn't have, like, I'm speaking like my family and my husband the same way. We didn't go to Disney World, until I think I was like in high school. That was kind of like my first theme park, essentially. We didn't get to go on these lavish vacations and trips because my parents only had basically one source of income. And as like us now, like this generation, as females, whether you're the breadwinner or not, you need multiple sources of income, whether it's, your 401k, your main W-2, investment, stock, whatever. Like, having one is just not enough anymore, unfortunately. So we owe it to ourselves, as females, as women, as moms, as partners, to understand what the other opportunities are out there, so that we can do what's best for our family and be able to take, Disney World whenever you want to, because Disney was probably like $10,000 ago, but be able to have those experiences, because experiences and memories is what is, to me, is what's truly important in life.
You're so inspiring, Anna. Anywho, I'm just gonna ask you, all right, what are your current business needs? What do you want people to walk away from here? Do you like, let's plug SuiteLife Multifamily. If you need more, if you want to drum up more investors and have them learn more about you, what should they do, Anna?
Yeah, so our website is suitelifemf.com. It's SuiteLifeMF. So MF stands for multifamily, but can also stand for other things.
I love it.
And the reason why,
T-shirt.
yeah, mofos.
Mofos.
Yeah,
Sweet
mofo
Life
shirt.
So
Mofos.
the reason why we came up with that name is because, growing up, we always kind of wanted the sweet life, either staying in the penthouse when you go on vacation or going to the sweet box, at games or football games or whatever. And that was always a kind of an unknown. So that's how we came up with that name. We wanted to be able to provide passive investment opportunities to folks that are looking for additional sources of income, to kind of provide a nice hedge to their just, primary income. And coming from the petroleum industry, my husband and I have gone through, I think, 3 downturns. So having the real estate rental properties has been really nice. And it's just so less stressful when you're faced in a situation that you can lose your job over and over and over again. So that's where we're always looking for new investors. If you're new to the real estate, we're happy to set up a call with you guys and talk a little bit further, talk about tax strategies. There's just so many great benefits in commercial real estate that a lot of folks don't know. And that's something that, growing up in a, DIY, you spend what you have environment, you didn't really understand all the possibilities out there. So that's something that we want to kind of bring out to at least the Asian community, that this is how folks are being wealthy, is by not only increasing your cash flow and making more money, but you also save money on taxes. Like if you kind of save on both, then
Amen,
yeah,
sister.
that's how you save the
Yeah, I
generational
hear
wealth.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'd love
Thank
to have you back on for like tax strategy at some point. We got to circle back because that was just like a, like a tip, and then we'll have to circle back on that one.
Fill it
But
in.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next time when Anna's here, we're going to talk about tax strategy.
I'm not a licensed tax professional, but I can tell you what has worked for us.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming, Anna. We can't wait to have you back. Next time, let us know when you're free. We love you and you're awesome. And we wish you guys so much success.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing your adventure with us.
Like, I feel like women, moms, partners, whatever, like we should be able to just really hold in and understand the financial side. Like, I think that's our fiduciary responsibility. Because, what if you end up divorcing, or what if you become a widow, or what if you end up having triplets? I mean,
I think that's actually more of a stickier angle for me, if from a woman perspective, because we can get the those finance and due diligence pieces like that. That's what I told Anita. I was like, the soul of this podcast shouldn't be like dry information. I want to like layer in that Asian American female experience on top of how to navigate that. And I think you're perfect for that, Anna. Like you're kind of like walking the walk and talking the talk.
Man, I have one that we can kind of use as an additional one. So it's basically my relationship with my dad. And this was a breakthrough for me. So I resisted, and let me, I know I have a noon, but do you guys have a hard stop?
Anita, did you have 30 minutes?
Yeah, I'm okay with 30 minutes.
Like,
okay.
we'll do 15 minutes.
Okay,
Sorry,
yeah,
I'm like, so this was a breakthrough for me. And so I resist. So my dad's like a fantastic entrepreneur. I mean, real estate, and real estate transcends all cultures, right? Like whether you're in Asia, Europe, it doesn't matter. Like, if you have real estate, you're solid. The thing that people don't understand is, obviously the rules and regulations that kind of change when you cross borders. And so my dad, he was a great entrepreneur, but when it came to being a dad, he was mediocre, and he was, as a husband, he was kind of mediocre in my opinion. And because I equated being an entrepreneur and the way that my dad was a dad and the way that my dad was a husband, I resisted being an entrepreneur. And so when I had my second daughter, I think that was the pulling or the calling for me to kind of look into this. And when I look back at my corporate career, I realized the roles and responsibilities that I like really enjoyed were kind of like the entrepreneurial-ish type of roles, like being in a position where it was a new role, there was an undefined, like, how do you get there? You just had high-level objectives, and then you kind of figure it out. And my husband mentions that, that sounds like you really enjoy being an entrepreneur. I was like, no, that's crazy. And because I felt like the way that my dad treated, I wouldn't say he was he didn't treat us poorly, but he just wasn't the type of father that I wanted him to be, just being present and, going to all the, games or piano recitals or whatever, right? Well, he did go to the piano recitals, but, like all the extracurricular stuff. Because of that, I didn't think I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And once I kind of realized that you can be a successful entrepreneur and you can also be a fantastic parent, a mom, and not sacrifice like all those other things, that's when I was really kind of launched into this world of building my own business in like 3 months. I mean, once I kind of got past that, I broke through, I was like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
So
I love that. That's like, that was like your priority. You're like, I have to be a good mom first, and then it kind of broke way into your like releasing your professional career and all these
like hang-ups that you have about being an
all things
entrepreneur.
that you're
Like for me,
holding on to. Yeah,
yeah,
that's so big too. The things that we hold on to allow ourselves to become entrepreneurs, as women, it's extremely
I
powerful.
love that.
Yeah,
That's a great
let's
episode.
talk
We
about
like
that.
Asian
I love that.
daddy issues. That's the next episode. Asian girl daddy issues. All of us have them. How is it holding us back?
Yeah.
don't let
Oh
it.
my god. Oh my god, the immigrant family issues. I want to get started on that one too.
Yeah,
Like,
we can get so
yeah.
into that. That's
The
that's
hierarchy, yeah, like this is how it's supposed to be done. You don't speak up. I mean,
Yes. Oh my god, a zillion
preach.
of that.
That's gonna be the
Like,
next episode, and it's gonna be like 3 hours long.
I know there's something there. Like, definitely, it's like I mean, I know Asian people own real estate because it's like it's one of those silent things that we hold power to, right? It's like,
Right.
we know we participate because we are landowners, and that's just how we've established ourselves, like, silently in the background for generations.
Yeah.
Anyway, that'll be a
Love
different
it.
topic.
I love it. Anna,
Yay,
we'd love
thank
to
you
have
so
you
much,
back.
Anna.
Thank you so much.